Oh, because I thought maybe you were my friend, because I like to plan my comings and goings with friends. But if you're not my friend, you're planning my comings and goings, I'd call that presumptuous. In fact, I'd call it downright rude. Because I ain't your porch baby, buddy.
Welcome back to Schlock Awe. As always, I'm Lindsay. And this week, well, it's November, so let's do noir, because noir is awesome. But we are taking a look at the same material done by two very different filmmakers. The more journeyman and the more auteur, because we are doing Cape Fear. That's right. J. Lee Thompson's and Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear. And to go through the similarities and the real differences of style, how to make a movie, what you want to pull from the material, it is, of course, film critic Nadine. Hello.
Hello, Lindsay, and happy November.
Yes, happy November. Yeah, you're saying it's November. I'm like, oh yeah, it is November. We can watch some noirs. And then you went, Cape Fear. And I went, yes, let's just do both of them, because even though they are very much about the same, it is the same story of kind of revenge and redemption and good versus evil. Both of these movies are completely different beasts.
They very much are. And it's not just the time shift from, what we see is the early 60s into the early 90s. So that 30-year difference in what people were allowed to say on film, because of, J. Lee Thompson's version is definitely, restricted by the Hays Code, and it was cut.
And he was not happy about it.
No, it was cut several times. But even then, like watching it now, even with the things that were cut, exactly what's going through Robert Mitchum's Max Caddy's head in relationship to Sam's daughter. And then we come to, the early 90s, and where I think there's less of a line between what is good, ethical, and evil. Straight up, like Nick Nolte's Sam's family is not a particularly happy family in the first place. It's not that picket fence kind of,
No, it is definitely not. And there is like there's kind of big shifts on how families are represented in the 60s and in the 90s, and also what each director is actually interested in the first place. We might as well just jump in. We'll do, of course, the 62 first and then the 91. The curtains are opening. Nadine, what is going to be your first trailer for the 1962 Cape Fear?
Well, I think it's going to have to be Charles Lawton's masterpiece, his only piece. The night of the hunter, because
Ben never told you throw it in the river, did he?
I can hear you whispering, children, so I know you're down there. I can feel myself getting awful mad.
Here is all the passion and suspense, the heart-pounding warmth of the best-selling novel that gripped millions.
Girl, wake up! Come on, girl!
Superb, unforgettable performances by an extraordinary array of talent.
Figured I was gone, huh?
Run, hide in the staircase. Run quick!
If we're going to set up Robert Mitchum as pure evil, this is the film to do it. It's extraordinary.
It is an amazing movie. The first time I saw it, I couldn't quite believe this got made in what, the early 60s, I think it was made.
No, it was in the 50s.
In the 50s, sorry. Because he is using a lot of allegory, the movie, and it can get away with so much more with what the movie is trying to do and what is it. But he is this cartoon, almost Wile E. Coyote villain, but he's out of this storybook fairy tale villain, and he is incredible. He's got this folksy tone to him, and poor Shelley Winters, she can never pick a good man on screen. She is constantly
Yeah.
um but that shot of her in the car underwater is like one of the most beautiful shots ever put to film. Gorgeously southern, just gorgeously gothic. I adore this movie.
Well, yes, I mean, this is something that we get in both of the Cape Fears too. They're Southern Gothics as well as
Yes.
noirs, and those two genres work very well together. You'll see it in things like John Huston's Wise Blood, for example. Um, Elmer Gantry isn't so much a noir, but it has that same kind of feeling to it.
Yes.
And Nightmare Alley, which is I guess it's more Dust Bowl, but
More Dust Bowl and doing a few other things, but it's definitely got that noir Southern Gothic sensibility to it.
yeah, and I think with Lawton's piece, what's interesting and what connects us actually to Scorsese's version of Cape Fear as opposed to J. Lee Thompson's version is that Mitchum's, evil guy, love and hate person has reinvented himself as a preacher.
Yes.
And so there's this idea of these revivalist Southern Baptist churches where, people speak in tongues and, it's
Faith
fire and
healing.
brimstone. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there's all of that going on, which is heavily in Marty's film, and I think one of the things he's most interested in. But yeah, just, if you want Robert Mitchum in pure evil a good 7 years before he turns up in Cape Fear, Night of the Hunter, and also he's picking on kids. So
Yes,
yeah,
he really is, but he is the witch. Like, I just love how everyone falls for his shtick of I'm the preacher, love and hate on his knuckles. And then as soon as he goes up to Lily and Gish, he just has a shotgun in his face. It's like, I do not buy this bullshit. It's just so
I've been
good.
around for a while, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen this before. No, that is a great movie and kind of the perfect table setting. I'm going for a slightly different tone. Definitely not gothic, but definitely is playing with Gregory Peck's stardom, like or star persona, much like Night of the Hunter is doing with Mitchum. But I am going to go for Richard Donner's The Omen.
Something terrible happened. And then it happened again. Was it an accident? Was it murder? Was it a coincidence? Or was it an omen?
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
20th Century Fox presents a film of psychological suspense about an occurrence of earth-shaking importance. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, The Omen.
I was at the hospital, Mr. Thorne, the night your son was born. I saw its mother. I saw its mother.
A kind of a, hey, the Exorcist did well, so what if, the Antichrist was adopted by Atticus Finch, and now Atticus Finch has to kill his own child. It is very much playing on that. Gregory Peck is the ultimate good man. Even though I think The Omen is very flawed in a lot of ways, I think it is still a really fun, schlocky horror movie with some amazing kills, and kind of you're just leaning on the fact of, will Atticus Finch not only kill a child, but his own son?
He knows it's not his own son.
Well, he does know that, but
adopted
he's
son.
he raised him. Like, it is still his child that he has been raising and presumably has fatherly affection for until he realizes, son of the devil.
Yeah, that, and he's trying to kill his wife.
Yes, yes.
Very obviously trying to kill his wife.
Holy Remick.
Yeah, poor Lee Remick. She's not having fun in that
No,
role
no,
because
she is not.
she's very much, it's kind of like we need to talk about Kevin in that. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that kid's evil. Like,
Yeah,
and nobody believes it.
yeah, you have to love this child. But do I? Do I really?
Because I'm fairly sure he's not nice, but
No. He sets off the baboons like it's all a thing. Like he's pushed me off the stairs. Like no, this is not good.
no, but I mean it's a great film to kind of look at the legacy of of Gregory Peck as an actor, because before we even get to this Cape Fear where he's playing a lawyer, he hasn't even played Atticus Finch yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gregory Peck.
The world never seems as fresh and wonderful, as comforting and terrifying, as good and evil, as it does when seen through the eyes of a child. For a writer to capture that feeling is remarkable. And perhaps that is why one book in the last few years has been so warmly embraced by tens of millions of people. To Kill a Mockingbird, winner of the Pulitzer Prize and just about every other award a book can win. And now, happily, To Kill a Mockingbird becomes a motion picture, and its memorable characters come vividly alive. That Scout. Some people call her Jean Louise Finch, but she insists on Scout. And that's her brother, Jim. Just a boy until the day he learns there is evil in the world.
Wait, did they come out the same year, or did he film this one first?
No, I thought it was slightly later.
Yeah, well, my memory with To Kill a Mockingbird is it was like his big first film role, and this is where Gregory Peck's born, not the fact that he'd already been acting for like 15 years.
So it's 1962. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's the same time. But interesting enough, Hitchcock was really the one who put him on the map with not Suspicion. Was it Spellbound?
Might have been Spellbound.
Yeah, and then the Parodying Case, which he was
Yeah.
also in playing a lawyer. So yeah, Gregory Peck had this very smooth, very heroic thing. If they were going to look for somebody to play a hero of some kind, because he's in the Guns of Navarone and he's in like all these war films, and he's I think the only time he gets to really not be a hero is in The Boys from Brazil. But yeah, he's just he's one of these, not even Cary Grant type, because he's much more all-American.
Yes, he's much more Midwestern. Like, I don't know if he was where he was born, but it's kind of like how James Stewart had this folksy Midwestern thing to him, but he was born in like Philadelphia. So it's kind of like this persona that all the kind of the classic guys kind of built up around them. But yeah, he's much more Midwestern, and he's just kind of like because I know your trailer is To Kill a Mockingbird, which you kind of not talk about, because even though this was the same year as Cape Fear, and I'm guessing To Kill a Mockingbird was much more successful because, people studied law like nth degree after seeing that movie, and it's very much a civil rights movie, and it's sort of saying, really looking at the nature of not just, well, what Cape Fear is doing, good and evil. This is kind of like, what happens when good men stand back in the face of evil kind of thing, and that whole line of when he's talking to the jury, do your duty. Like, it's like when you read the book, he's like the ultimate father figure.
Yeah, and that's it too. He's a father to a daughter. Scout is younger than Nancy is, but Nancy's a very young 14.
She is, yes.
Like you look at her and you go, 12. Whereas when you get to Scorsese's Danielle, she's 15 and very much filmed not as a young 15-year-old.
We will get into how she's kind of when we get into it, she's very portrayed exceedingly innocent, like almost too innocent. But the reason why you need Juliette Lewis in that role was because she needs to do other things, and you can't actually have an innocent 15-year-old doing that role.
But no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, before, like, 62 is, well into his career. So by the time he's doing To Kill a Mockingbird and Cape Fear, he's already done Spellbound, Moby Dick, The Guns of Navarone. Um, he's done Roman Holiday.
Which is a big one because Roman Holiday is
Audrey
Audrey Hepburn announcing herself to the world in her
Haircut.
pixie haircut, which she actually got. I always, when I watch it, I'm always amazed that she got that haircut essentially being filmed for Roman Holiday.
Yeah, yeah. And he'd done On the Beach as well.
Big
So
Country, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he'd had a fairly like solid career. And I said, yeah, back in 1947, he was doing the Paradine Case with Hitchcock. So
Yeah.
he's done two Hitchcocks. But yeah, with Peck though, he really just was that man that you felt safe around.
Yes.
And he turns out he was born in California, so
It's always the way. The most Midwest actors are always from like the East or West Coast.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's a lot to do with the Hollywood accent too. Was always sort of settled in the Northwest, not Northwest, sorry, in the Midwest because it was the least distinct accent, unless you were doing the transcontinental, which was
Well,
very
yes.
Katharine Hepburn.
Well, yes, because there is an episode coming up about Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn, which is all about the transatlantic accent, which we get into. 'Cause
Is it, my dear?
Yes.
Mighty Yar. It was Yar.
Mighty Yar. So yeah, so he's a very safe hand, and you always feel safe with him. And on the flip side, even though something like The Night of the Hunter was a colossal flop at the time, now it's considered a genuine classic, a genuine masterpiece. People finally came around. Um, Robert Mitchum had always had this danger about him. He was always he played wild cards out of the past. He always kind of played that guy you had to give a side eye to because you weren't entirely sure what he was going to do next. In fact, he was arrested as a teenager, which is why he didn't want to film in Georgia because he had bad memories, not surprisingly. He was arrested for marijuana possession in the 50s. So,
which ends up in the film, the Scorsese's version, which is great.
Yes. So it's kind of like taking these two very specific stars with two very specific personas and then putting them on screen. And we haven't even got to the part where people are going to see him as Atticus Finch, which kind of just gives him a whole second wave of his career. And
feel suspense, suspense that grips your heart in a vice. Feel fear, numbing, paralyzing fear. Cape Fear, starring Gregory Peck, Robert Mitchum, Polly Bergen. Cape Fear, the screen's most terrifying war of nerves.
I've seen the worst, the dregs, but you are the lowest.
You just put the law in my hands, and I'm gonna break your heart with it.
I got a little plan for your wife and kids.
They're never gonna forget. Never.
it was weird watching it because I grew up with the Scorsese version. So, and actually, no, wait. I had this, which is always tied to The Simpsons for me, but we'll get into when we actually talk the Scorsese. But I always had a very specific thing in my head. So to watch this for the first time, maybe 10 years ago, it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't know what even the original was. Because you just grew up with, you know, a very much bigger version of what De Niro is going to be doing in the 91 version.
Yep. I'm going to say something that's going to possibly be, you know, I don't know, a bit divisive. I really like the original more. So much more. um, in the way it's put together. I love the fact that it's playing with noir, horror, thriller conventions, and J. Lee Thompson, who is, very much a journeyman director. Like you go and look and you see his filmography and you go, Planet of the Apes films,
Yes.
Random Wolf films, a comedy.
Charles Bronson. He did a lot of Charles
the-
Bronson toward the end. Yes, because in fact, I was actually forgot trailer. It was going to be 10 to Midnight, which I know, and Nadine usually likes to watch the trailers I'm picking, and I'm like, don't watch this. You don't. You're like, thank you, because I'm not planning on it. Okay, I know it's not as good as Cape Fear. It may be in my heart, but it is a movie where you really need to have a shower. It's very canon and very sleazy, and you're like, what is this? But yeah, no, he's very much a guy who makes the movie for what the genre is. He's not trying to turn it into something else, which is very much what Marty does. Especially with his Cape Fear, which I kind of like them equally. I think they're doing two very different things and have two very different goals. But
sorry,
yeah.
I just think that the original Cape Fear is so beautifully filmed.
It is gorgeous. That final scene when they're by the river in the bayou, and it's almost silent, and they're just hunting each other. It's so good.
Yeah, well, it's in North Carolina, so there is
Yeah.
actually a Cape Fear river system there
Yes.
in North Carolina, and yeah, what happens in this version of Cape Fear, which is they're both from the same source novel.
The
but
Executioners, yes.
yes, by John D. MacDonald, but both of them have rewritten it so significantly that it kind of doesn't really matter. But the way that Robert Mitchum is always compared to an animal. So what gets him very upset is when he's like, people are saying, "Oh, you're the lowest I can go. You're the, you know, that I can't go lower than to be around with you," which is
Yeah.
what happens with the woman he attacks so terribly. He's like, "You're animalistic," and he just really doesn't like that. But when you get him into the water, he kills like a crocodile.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the fate that he is given is to be in a cage for the rest of his life. When skipping to the end, when Sam Bowden has the gun on him, which is Gregory Peck, and he goes, just kill me, like I've lost, just get it over and done with. And then Gregory Peck goes, no, that's going to be too easy. Like, I want you in a cage for the rest of your life. So all you're doing is counting time, counting minutes, and you will be a caged animal. That is what your worst nightmare is, and that is what is going to happen to you. And then just the defeat on Max Caddy's face is incredibly palatable. It's like the devastation of, oh, he's not going to kill me. Now I have to live with the consequences of everything that I've done. Because I keep saying he's too smart to do this. Like, he knows if he does what he's planning to do, he is going to go back to jail. And what I like about, I think both, actually, no, I think actually, because there's too much going on the other one, I think this movie deals with the American law system in a very frank way, kind of like, but it's actually looking at how awful it is for witnesses of assaults who actually have to go through a court case. It's almost like a second time they're being assaulted. Because the whole point is that Max Caddy wants to sexually assault Sam's young daughter, who's 14, and it's always talked around. Apparently in the movie it was much more frank, like, which is what you have to admire, that they're really kind of digging into this guy as a pedophile. He is the worst. He is pure evil. There's the comment of he'll go after Nancy because he knows that we're not going to put Nancy through a trial. It would just be too cruel. So he'll know that he'll get away with it. Just the question she's going to be asked is going to be too horrific to kind of put her through, which does actually say a lot about how you have to try those kinds of cases. Like, it's almost like having to relive that trauma a second time and kind of putting the onus on a 14-year-old girl about what happened to her. So I think that was a very frank, smart way this movie goes about it.
Yeah, but I think too, uh, if you look at the way that he's hunting Nancy, or even even the way he looks at
Oh,
women, full stop,
an
he's a
animal.
hateful misogynist.
Yes, yes.
He's a hateful misogynist, and the crime that he was put in prison for, and Sam Larden wasn't even involved as a prosecutor or defense in the J. Lee Thompson's. He's just a
He
witness.
witnessed. He saw something and then he went on stand and was a witness and just happens to be a lawyer.
Hmm. Yeah, and so he's served 7 years in the first film, and you know during that time we don't know anything about him except that he was counting time and angry and reading law books.
Yeah.
So reading enough about the law to find loopholes, into what he can and can't do,
Yes.
which is it's fascinating because it's both films are, I think, a bit about the failure of the justice system, full
Yes.
stop.
Yes, it is.
Um, you know, in that when we get to the Scorsese and we get to what Nick Nolte's Sam's done, most ethical thing he kind of really does in that film is to bury some evidence that gets him
Which
put
is
on
the worst, true, but is the worst thing a lawyer can do. And when you're looking at lawyer ethics, bearing evidence is often considered the worst thing you can do because everything has to be laid out. But what he is actually burying is unfortunately what is considered important in a rape case, but actually shouldn't have anything to do with a rape case, as we'll get into. But no, I think that stuff is fascinating, which is kind of one of my quibbles about the Scorsese one, because I'm like, okay, there's something weird with anyway. There's biblical justice and there's legal justice, which we'll get into with this one, but because Marty always has to put sort of religion and big themes of right and wrong and forgiveness and sin and redemption. Where there's this one, because J. Lee Thompson was he was a thoughtful director. Like he knew, like he was very influenced by Hitchcock. He wanted to make a Hitchcock movie, which is
Well,
why
this one is close as you get because he's got at least three of Hitchcock's
exactly, yeah.
collaborators, especially Bernard Herrmann on the score.
Yes, and that score is gorgeous. As soon as I hear it playing, I'm just like, yes, I love this score so much. And Bernard loves a fast violin, and this has that. Famously, you all know which one I'm talking about. But I think so. He wanted to make so he's very conscious of where the camera is, very conscious of the black and white shadowing in this, much like Hitchcock often was, very conscious of the framing. And this is a man who I adore, and he also made Charles Bronson canon movies. He also made two of the probably cheapest Planet of the Apes movies, which I adore, because I think he's going for absolute like symbolism and everything like that in his movies, but he knows what kind of movie to make within. He's very conscious of the genre that he's making, but the way this movie slips into horror, like when Katie is stalking Nancy for the first time and it's like they go down. Yes, it's like a panther. He's like this cat, like hunting an antelope. It's an incredibly shot and absolutely terrifying scene because she looks so young. As you said, she looks like she's 11 or 12, not 14.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Which should make a difference, but she's young.
Well, I mean, also too, the people she's around are very tall, or he's a very short actor. So
Gregory Peck, it's what you learn from this movie. Gregory Peck, very tall. It's just his legs were just like, that is like 80% of your body, sir.
Yes, yes, but I mean, in that section too, it has that shadow of a doubt kind of feeling to it as well.
Yeah.
That even though everyone else is aware of what's going on, she's still this child who is unable to control an adult she knows is going to hurt her, and she's well aware that he is planning on hurting her.
Yeah. It also reminded me of how in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe because they were in a kind of a boiler room, so I just went, Freddy. but it's that way that Freddy would stalk his victims in that first movie. Like it's very, he's always coming up behind, and it's very predatory, and the person knows they are in danger. It's I think it's a very influential scene on how a stalking scene would go, and it's very, it really leans. It's probably the most horror-esque scene within the movie.
Oh, I think that there is another scene which is just, pure horror tropes, and that's when Peggy hears something in the house and she's walking down the stairs, and, okay, hearing something in a house, walking down the stairs, these two things in themselves are
Yes,
just basic horror tropes,
they are.
but they're huge horror tropes, and he films it like a horror film. He doesn't pretend it is anything but that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you watch some of his later horror movies when he is making actual slashes, which he did, he does the same thing, and he is very good at it. He knows exactly how the camera's meant to move, where it's meant to go. He's a very, very I call him a competent, and I think that sounds that he's not as good as he actually is. But I think he was always very good at going, what am I doing here? Am I doing more of a thriller shot? Am I doing more of a hunting thing? Am I doing more of a, like, I love the scene when he's talking to the waitress near the beginning when he's watching the family bowling.
Hmm.
And she puts down and goes, does the ring mean anything? And she goes, yes, yes, it does. And then he gives her a 20 and goes, does that mean anything? And she gets angry and walks away because he's essentially offering money for sex. And just the way it's kind of plainly done. Like, I don't know, he's just very good at knowing exactly what the camera's going to convey and how it's going to
Hmm.
convey it very simply.
Yes, yeah, very much so, and doesn't waste a lot on dialogue.
Nope.
For example, when when he's when Max is coming up against the other, well, not even against, decides to pick up the other woman who he, like, seriously harms.
Yes.
Um, he doesn't do a lot of talking. It's it's her that does the talking, and she's not even aware of it, but she's deeply insulting him.
Yes. Um, because everyone does call him, because he went to prison, everyone thinks that he is stupid, and they keep this even happens in the remake. But everyone thinks he's stupid. He is not. He is very, very smart, and he knows it, but he is aware of how other people see him. Like he's always dressed very well. Like I was kind of interested in the fact he's constantly wearing white. Um, which usually is an indicator, especially in the classic, of like a good person, like the white hat, black hat kind of thing,
Hmm.
but they put him all in white. Um,
When he
so
has a shirt on.
yes, there's a lot of times he does not have a shirt on, and I do find Robert Mitchum quite attractive. And this is a movie where I'm like, oh God, you're like the most evil person on the planet, especially when he's about to attack this poor woman. And the way she opens her eyes and watches him, like there's that instinct you get when you know something really bad is about to happen, and you have to figure out what you're going to do. And they keep in the movie they keep saying she took a beating. No, she was sexually assaulted. That because that is what he does, and he
Well,
likes to cause
well,
harm to other people. So
well, that's also something that she says when they question. She's like, I can't get up on the stand and tell people what he did to me.
yeah,
Like, it's too shameful.
yeah, it's too shameful, and it's a really nice performance from her. I don't have her name up at the moment, but it's a really
Uh,
really nice performance from her, and it does say a lot about sexual assault and kind of the failure of the system when it is dealing with victims.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, that person. Sorry, I'm just is Barry Chase. She played Diane Taylor. Now, I looked into Barry, and she didn't have much of a career. She was mostly a dancer. So she had lots of chorus roles, but she didn't
Ah,
get many front roles, I guess. And this is perhaps one of her largest and yeah, the rest of the cast, because I don't think we even talked about the rest of the
Oh my
cast,
God.
because
The
that
cast is like, if you're going to put, like, it's a movie that has Marty Balsam and Telly Savalas. So I'm already going to like your movie regardless of what's happening. Though Telly
it's also
Savalas
got
were here.
it's also got the chief from Get Smart in it.
It does, yes. At the beginning, he's playing the judge.
Yes, Edward Platt.
Yes.
Edward Platt. And I was like, hey.
You're Get Smart guy.
And
Yeah.
there's Polly Bergen
Yes.
as Gregory Peck's wife, and Laurie Martin as Nancy. But I don't think Laurie did a lot afterwards. But yes, you've got all these great character actors who turn up within this as well. And because Scorsese, when he made the remake, he was like, I'm making a remake. I'm not doing another version of the novel. I'm making a remake. You know how I'm making a remake? Because I'm using the same soundtrack and I'm grabbing all the actors who are still alive that I can.
Yes. We will be putting Marty Balsam in a chair so he does not have to move. And we're just going to make Gregory Peck stand for 2 minutes. But that is it. But yeah, they're in my movie because I love how most people go, no. I'm doing another version of the book, so it's not a remake. And Marty's like, no. I'm doing a remake. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
This is a total remake. We're not even pretending otherwise.
Exactly. I'm like having similar scenes. I'm doing my own thing. I'm mixing it up so it's more interesting to me. But no, that is a complete remake. But no, I love watching a 60s cast. As soon as you put, I mean, Marty Balsam is, and actually probably Telly are two of my favorite character actors. So, though Telly with hair, I was a bit weirded out. I'm like, I don't like this. He's meant to be sucking on a lollipop, which he actually did outside Kojak. He was trying to quit smoking. Because even in this movie, he's like constantly got a cigarette in his hand.
Well, both of the films do, because the 91 it was still like everyone smokes.
Oh my God, Jessica Lange.
She's bashing through those cigs,
Oh, she's just like every scene. She's just like pulling things off. You're like, did you get that cigarette, Jessica? I didn't see a pack lying around. Just Houdini that out of thin air. No, but he was a notorious like 3-pack a day guy, and so when he tried to quit, he just had to go into lollipops, which is why he's very famous for always having a lollipop in his mouth. But no, he's great as the private detective. I adore Martin Balsam. Yeah, big Hitchcock guy. Well, obviously. They shot some of it. I can't remember where it was, but they did shoot a part of it in the actual hotel where they shot Psycho, because it's the Universal movie, and I'm pretty sure the Psycho house is still standing on the Universal lot. So it was still a set that you could use, which I'm like, thought that just would have been cornered off, because it's like, no, this is just for Norman Bates and Mother. This whole still haunt the place. But it was that kind of thing. You realize, oh yeah, because it's a living set, people still use it. So yeah, they did use apparently a part of the Psycho set, which just tickles me, because yeah, this is Thompson making a Hitchcock movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And well, you get that from the Herman to begin with, but
Yes.
also just the way he holds suspense. Like,
Exactly.
we are sometimes more aware of where Max Caddy is than the family, so we're waiting for that to happen. But also he likes to do the blindsiding as well. We are often as lost as the family is, in terms of like, where is he? How did he get there?
Yeah, it's like when you think Sam has drowned him, and then he pulls up, I think it's his lawyer, Max Caddy's lawyer. And then you went, oh shit, where is he? And then he just walks in the door of the boathouse, and then poor Polly Bergen is there, just kind of going, oh crap, where did you come from? And it's kind of like this cool fake out of, you think, oh, evil's actually finally been vanquished. No, wait, it hasn't. And then that amazing scene with the egg is so creepy. I mean, he's just, the way he's just like he's like rubbing the yolk or the egg into Polly's skin. It's like, you are so gross.
That was the scene. He also cut himself, I think, too.
Yes, he
so
did,
it
yeah.
ended up,
Everyone got hurt, yeah, in that scene.
Yeah,
Polly got hurt,
so-
yeah.
Oh, she got hurt because they're throwing the set around.
Yeah, and slamming her into walls and yeah.
Yeah, but also he so the egg and there was blood as well. So um, if that was in color, that would be so bloody abject.
Yes.
Ugh. But here's something also that's really interesting. You know who the production company was for this?
No.
Gregory Peck's own production company, Melville Pitt Productions. And so it was distributed by Universal, but he put the money up to begin with. So
Yeah, it wasn't he also thinking of taking on the Max Caddy role at one stage? Because he always said he always said in interviews that was the better part. Like I think he had a falling out with Robert Mitchum because apparently Robert Mitchum wasn't as grateful for getting this amazing role that was Max Caddy. But I don't think Robert Mitchum showed emotion at all. So I think he was a very except when he was like running ketchup everywhere, he'd go completely drunk. But I think he wasn't particularly a man who would show much emotion. So I think there was a little bit of ego clashing between the two of these guys. But yeah, no, this was a Gregory Peck project from the beginning, and it was meant to be a vehicle for him. So that is fascinating because yeah, he's the one who set everything up.
yeah, and Mitchum didn't want to do it anyway until they sent him flowers. So it's good to
And
know that.
alcohol and bourbon. Don't forget the bourbon.
About flowers, like
Yes.
flowers. And,
Yes.
it's good to know you can get a villain out of sending people flowers.
Yes. And
Yes.
yeah, they wooed him, which I found it delightful because I do like Robert Mitchum a lot. I always like his screen presence. I think he's a really interesting actor. I think he always has a really cool screen presence. And yeah, they sent him flowers and will you be our most evil man on the planet?
Yes, and he was.
Yes, he was, and he does it well.
He
Um,
does do it well, and he does weariness well as I like Robert Mitchum's one of those characters you just can't imagine as a teenager.
no, he was always been a 45-year-old man. I know he was arrested when he was a teenager for like vagrancy or drunken public drunkenness or something.
But
But no,
he's always been, he's always been in his 40s.
yeah, exactly.
He's always been tired.
Yeah. He's just always been never had enough sleep the night before. Always slightly
Yeah,
hungover.
exactly. He's always drunk, that's
Exactly.
it. And actually, I don't know if he was always drunk, but at 7 he was probably drunk and looking like that.
Yes.
But yes, it's a fantastic film, and I just want to point out one scene that I think is kind of like one of those shots you could frame um, on the houseboat, which is really really big houseboat.
Really big houseboat.
Yeah, and not called Moana like is in the
I googled.
sorry. Yeah. Anyway, um, we have a scene where he's come in, and this is just before the whole weirdo stuff of him of Sam's wife offering to basically allow herself to be raped as long as he leaves the daughter alone.
That is a really scary scene because he's essentially going, she goes, I will testify if you do this, saying like, I'm not afraid to go on the witness stand. He goes, yeah, but what if there's consent? That means I get off scot-free. And I'm like, hang on a minute, that's dark. Like they're making a bargain to save their daughter, to save the daughter essentially. And it's a very, that's where the egg comes in. It's very dark.
Yeah, but there's a shot because he's no longer shirt wearing, and there's a shot that's done through the shadows or has the shadows of the glassware that was hanging up in the houseboat. So he's got like this gorgeous shadow on his back, and it's just like it's horrific, but it's also beautiful. And yeah, so I just think that for me anyway, it this it sustains its mood through its artistry.
Yes.
And I think that when we get to the next one, I think Scorsese's artistry is a little looser.
Oh, very much. This is a tight as a drum. Like my favorite shot is when they're in the the I guess the bush is probably like a way of saying it's like this dense wood kind of thing on the river, and it's very Southern Gothic. And I think you just see Robert Mitchum's face when he's hunting. They're both hunting each other, but he's kind of after Gregory Peck, and you just see the foliage and then pitch black around his face, and it's a stunning shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The artistry in this is absolutely extraordinary,
Yeah.
and of course, there's no doubting in this film at any stage, like whose side you're on, um, who you want to succeed and who you don't want to see dragged into what they're becoming dragged into. Is that
Yes.
Sam Loudon is such a straight down the line good guy that eventually he has to start doing things that are reducing him and making him more like Max Caddy.
Well, that's why they go, which is interesting. The whole thing of going out to the river is almost going out, it's leaving society, it's leaving civil society where there are rules, where there is the law that you have to follow because he's been broken down to the point. Because I forgot that how in the midway point that's when they actually leave wherever in Georgia they are. I think it's Georgia. And they go out, and that's kind of when civility kind of goes out the window, and he's able to actually, because the whole plan is I think he wants to kill Max Caddy. But he's going to a place where it is just nature, where there's a different law to that place. And they go back at the end, so they're going back to civilization.
Yeah, and during this sort of process, it starts with him offering Max Caddy money, so essentially a bribe to get out of town.
Yep.
And then he hires people to beat him up,
which backfires.
Which backfires, which then turns into Loudon essentially going up and getting like possibly disbarred, and that's where they set up the end confrontation, is because by that stage he's kind of lost his career, but he doesn't ever completely lose his relationship to the police,
No.
which is something that happens quite firmly within
Yes.
the second one.
Yes, it definitely flips, but Martin Balsam always has his back. Like he's really trying. Like the police kind of give up very, very quickly. Whereas in this one, they know they have to wait till because they're almost trying to simulate a bad thing so they can arrest him, because all they've got him on at the moment is like drunken vagrancy or these kind of minor things that might get him off, get him into prison for a bit, but aren't actually going to stop him. And so they have to show intent to actually do some harm. Unfortunately, Max is going to do real harm. So it's not like it's quite a dangerous line they have to walk. But no, he's just because you are so on Gregory's side in this, that you're just like, no, this is all correct because you are facing off against a person of true evil. And there's no
but there's
bones
also
about
the
it.
sense of watching a principled man have to
Exactly.
give up his principles in the face of a legal system that's not able to help him.
Yes.
And that the fact that his job is a lawyer, and he's being essentially outlawyered by Max Caddy is and not only so he's been challenged on his intellectual position. He's challenged as a man who can protect his family by Max, and then Max is pulling him down further and further to criminality.
Yes.
So there's this very interesting sort of line of I guess murky dissension that the
It
character has
is.
to
I
go
mean,
through.
yeah, and even the house, which is solid, and that is kind of the ultimate domestic safe space. Like um husband, wife, child, big house, dog, pretty much white picket fence kind of thing. And by the end of the movie, they're in this they're in a house. It's a very luxurious houseboat. It's very big. Like you're not going to feel unsafe in it, but it is very much a boat that is not attached to anything. It is literally on water. So it's kind of like everything's becoming unstable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're not that far from swamplands, and you just don't know what's going to happen, and you've got all the hanging moss everywhere.
Yeah. No, if you haven't seen it for a while, it is actually extraordinary. It's very, very good. It just looks utterly beautiful. It's a gorgeous movie. Any final thoughts before we move on to the chaos of the remake?
The remake is quite chaotic. I just, I think I said this to you all. Gregory Peck is my forever boyfriend.
Yeah. And
nobody should be mean to him.
No one should be mean, and everyone's mean to him, and not as mean as Nick Nolte, but Nick Nolte had it kind of coming because Nick Nolte's a little bit more as we will get into
compromised.
Okay, the curtains are opening. What is going to be your first trailer for the 1991 Cape Fear?
Okay, my first trailer is going to be Don Xena's first film, California. That's California with a K.
You see, one thing, people think faster out there on account of all that warm weather. Cold weather make people stupid. That's a fact.
I guess that'd explain why there's so many stupid people around here.
I think we should have at least met them first. Beggars can't be choosers. They were the only ones to answer the rideshare note, remember?
Please don't let them be as boring as Brian's friends. Anything but that. You've got to be kidding me. Look at them. They look like Okies.
Oh, jeez, Early. They look kind of weird.
Just in case.
He can't help the way he was raised. Gotta feel sorry for him.
You feel sorry for him. That's so sweet. You cut your hair.
Early cut it. He said it makes me look more pretty.
Very important.
Starring David Duchovny, Michelle Forbes, Juliette Lewis, and Brad Pitt.
Yes.
As a serial killer who happens to hitch a ride with two people looking into serial killers as they drive across America.
Yes. Now, was this made or before or after Natural Born Killers? I can never remember.
I think it's possibly 96. I'm just going to...
I think it's 96.
Yeah. Look. No, it's 93.
Okay. Oh.
So it's pre-Natural Born Killers, because Natural Born Killers is 1994. So it's around the time of True Romance.
So it is, yes. So it is kind of delving into that criminal lovers on the run, but Brad Pitt is a true psychopath in California.
As Early, he is just, he scares everyone.
Yeah.
Right? But except Brian, David Duchovny's character, who gets, has a slight man crush on him for a while.
Yes.
Becomes, really kind of excited by this, again, animalistic sort of guy. And Michelle Forbes as Carrie is like going, no.
This is a bad idea. I'm getting the skeeves out of this guy. What are we doing? Oh, he's fine. No, he's not. Like, every time someone says, oh, he's fine, he just got a bit quirky, it's like never ends well. But no, I haven't seen this movie for a while. I need to revisit it. So, because it's 93, a very early Brad Pitt performance. No, my trailer, I definitely have a theme with mine, but I am going for Gus Van Sant's Psycho, the remake.
Boy's best friend is his mother. She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Mother! Oh, God! Mother!
The famous everyone watch this movie and absolutely hate it. Most people still think it's an abomination of nature. Which I kind of have a weird soft spot for because I think it's a failed experiment that is still interesting.
I kind of agree. I mean, no, it's not a good movie.
Nope.
Could it end up in an art gallery as a piece of, I don't know, video performance? Yes.
Yes.
Should it have been released? Should it have been released as a commercial film? Absolutely not.
I don't know what world they decided Vince Vaughn would make a good oh shoot. I know the Anthony Perkins, but Norman Bates.
I was just going to let you go. I could have answered that, and I was just going to let you go until you got there. Yeah.
I just had to say a few things. I'm like, oh yeah, Norman Bates. I don't know what universe they would ever think he would be a good Norman Bates. So something has to be very kind of tiny about Norman Bates, I think, which is why Anthony Perkins just was so good. But this is a weird movie. It's just a almost time. Again, it's got the Herman Bernard score, line for line, shot for shot, except for some weird Cloud and Cowles moments. Because Gus Van Sant was like, "Look, I made Elephant. We're going to be experimental." As you're right, it could be in a performance of a gallery of redoing Psycho, but it's still not quite working. So there's been documentaries made on just like the kill scene in the shower. But how does one work so perfectly and the other doesn't match it, even if you were doing the same thing? It's a fascinating thing to watch.
Oh, I think it's because you've seen the first one.
Yes.
To begin with. I mean, for me, when I was talking about it as a gallery exhibition, it was like kind of, empty postmodernism. There's just this kind of facile postmodernism of it all.
Actually, no, wait. I saw that 98 before I saw the original, and even then I was like, what is this? No, so something's not right with the movie, because I saw the original Psycho after I went to the movies and saw Psycho 98.
Yeah, I did too. And I was like, wow, well, that cost me money and time. And by that stage, but in the 90s, late 90s, I was like, yeah, everything's ironic and Pomo, man. And so you can get away with it for that, but it's an absolute crap film.
Yeah, and it's got good actors in it. So it's like, yeah, if I was going to cast William Bolton's character, I would choose William H. Macy. Makes sense.
Yeah. And Anne Heche isn't bad as Marion Crane. And, it's got Julianne Moore, for heaven's sake. But, it just doesn't work because it is a shot for shot remake. Did we ever need that with different faces? I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to put in front of a movie that is so blatantly being a remake, not a readaptation. Nadine, what's going to be your second trailer for the 91 Cape Fear?
I'm just following my Juliette Lewis little tide here. So I'm going for Catherine Bigelow's future noir. Well, it's a past future noir now.
Past future noir, yes. That's probably the best way to explain it.
Because we have gone beyond 1999, where it's like years where it's set. But at the time, Strange Days.
Life. It's a piece of somebody's life. It's about the stuff that you can't have, right? The forbidden fruit. Straight from the cerebral cortex. I mean, you're there, you're doing it, you're feeling it. Are you beginning to see the possibilities here? I am your main connection to the switchboard of souls. I'm the magic man.
If it's got something to do with the wire, sooner or later it washes up on your beach.
Fan mail from some flounder?
The dark end of the street. How do you like it now?
He records it all. everything.
And gives it to you.
Why me?
There's more to this whole thing than you think.
Starring Juliette Lewis, Ralph Fiennes, person who died recently.
Tom Sizemore, Angela Bassett being amazing. Yeah.
Angela Bassett being right here, right now. Yeah. And when I first saw Strange Days, I saw it as a noir, essentially, because there's a crime committed, there's a mystery, there's a person who's misidentified as being the criminal, and also an addiction thing. And Juliette Lewis is playing the kind of, I guess, not femme fatale, because there's nothing doing that she's doing particularly wrong.
No, she's kind of is, but she kind of isn't. Like, it's kind of taking what a femme fatale character would be and just making her a person, which I think is always really interesting about Strange Days. So she's just doing what she thinks is best in the moment.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, Ralph Fiennes looks really damn hot in that film.
Really hot. Like, I have a thing for bad wigs, but that movie completely explains why there is bad wigs, because it is a world where you have like a brain sensor thingy and you can relive other people's memories, and it's like a black market kind of
they're called squibs. So I mean, it's still science fiction, you know, even though it's kind of like the original Blade Runner. We're past the original Blade Runner date now. We're past 1984. But yeah, we kind of are in 1984.
We kind of are in 1984. Sometimes these things just keep coming around.
Yeah, but it's really odd to see things that are set that are science fiction set in the future, and you're going, yeah, that was like 25 years ago.
Yeah,
none of that is like that.
No, I love past futuristic movies. I think they're so fascinating, because you're trying to see where they think the technology is going to go, and it's like, no, they kind of got that right, but no, this is not where we are.
Well, I think that's why Cronenberg works so well, is that he always uses antiquated technology.
Yes.
To show new technology. So it's like, you know, it's just
I think
already out of fashion.
Exactly. But I think you will believe that a videotape is kind of haunted, or like in Videodrome, there's something else to this kind of cable TV, which is old, but it's kind of old and haunted a little bit. Like, I think there's a really interesting way that Cronenberg plays with that idea. Like you said, it's antiquated, so you believe that something otherworldly is going to happen with it. Yeah. But no, this is a really great movie. I kind of watched it knowing it was kind of Catherine Bigelow. Well, hearing it was Catherine Bigelow's hidden masterpiece. Because it was kind of hard to get for a while. Now you can get it. Like, I have a Blu-ray downstairs. It's glorious.
Yeah, I've got one sitting right next to me.
Yeah, mine's downstairs. So it's more readily available it was than a few years ago, which I think is a good thing, because it is one of her best movies.
Well, Catherine Bigelow's actual kind of noir, The Weight of Water, is available through imprint, but like, it did so poorly, most people don't even know it exists.
Exactly. Yes. So, which, yeah, she has very big ups and downs. It's quite an extraordinary career in that respect.
Well, I think this was her. I think that was her only really like complete and utter abject flop.
Yeah. K-19. Oh, to that point, or
the Widowmaker one.
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of a flop.
Yeah.
But
no,
I mean,
Strange Days.
People have heard of that one.
Yeah.
Strange Days didn't do particularly well, but The Weight of Water is heavy, very heavy apparently, because it just sinks.
Yes.
And you never see the film. Yeah. Again. Bye.
Yes, bye. No, but that Juliette Lewis is very good in Strange Days. I'm trying to decide between two trailers. What I want to do more. Actually, no, screw it. I am gonna go for Hitchcock's Vertigo. Might as well keep on theme.
Scotty, don't let me go.
A beautiful girl haunted by the desperate, unexplainable urge to destroy herself. A man possessed by the paralyzing vertigo that made him afraid of high places.
Easy now.
Oh, no. Well, it's a cinch. Here, I look up. I look down. I look up. I look...
What was the strange attraction that brought these two together, in spite of the dark forces that tore them apart? The specter from the past, that drew her to the ancient headstone in the mission graveyard. The compulsion that drove her relentlessly to the point of no return. The story of a love so powerful it broke down all barriers between past and present.
Because holy crap, is Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear doing Vertigo at some point? I swear he's just doing shots from Vertigo some of the time. Yeah, Martin Scorsese, I'm pretty sure, was a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock, especially Vertigo. Just the color grading sometimes when there's a love scene between Jessica Lange.
Well, that would be weird.
That would be weird.
But that popped into my mind for a second. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, that did his mind.
Okay.
I said it and went, no, because I'm thinking of the having sex with Nick Nolte and Jessica Lange. And then it suddenly turns green and you get that Bernard music, and all of a sudden you're in Vertigo. And it is just some of the shots are just Martin going, how many Hitchcock shots can I get in there? And he's got Saul Bass, which he had worked for with Goodfellas, so it's not like he hadn't used him before, but he was like, can I get you to do the most Hitchcockian title credits you can do? He's got the Bernard Herrmann score, going just like really loud, like even louder than the original.
Yeah, he overscores that.
Yeah.
Cape Fear, I think when he stops using music is sometimes when music should be there. So I think that he's playing with that notion of sound in the film.
He really is.
But I think he's also, like, it's interesting that you talk about Vertigo, because I think there's also a huge amount of De Palma in this version as well.
There is.
Because we get a split diopter to begin with.
Yes.
And that's the start. And De Palma essentially started his career making Hitchcock films that aren't Hitchcock films by name. So there was Obsession, which was his Vertigo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of his movies he will do Psycho, Vertigo, and Rear Window, kind of all mushed into one. And he loves those kind of beats. I mean, in interviews he has said, I never saw Hitchcock as a filmmaker, I saw him as a genre. And what's wrong with playing in that genre? So if I'm going to use a lot of Hitchcockian things, it turns into a kind of a genre, and that's what he did. I mean, I love a Hitchcock ripoff. I love De Palma's. I adore Brian De Palma movies, and I think you're right. There is a lot of De Palma in here in that way. And those two obviously were buddies. They were part of the film school, right? Yeah, New Hollywood. Very much kind of collaborating, and so because I know Steven would pop into the set when he wasn't doing Jurassic Park or trying to plan Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in another 2 years. Funnily enough, Scorsese was meant to do Schindler's List, which always, I thought that was an urban legend. Then an interview, Scorsese goes,
he actually turned it down.
Yeah.
He turned it down, and he passed it on to Spielberg, and Spielberg passed Cape Fear on to him.
This town is so very nice, and everything's just so very, very nice. Somebody's out there.
What's your connection with this fella?
I was his lawyer.
But you shackled him somehow, right?
And what was he in prison for?
No, really. What did you do? Have you been following me?
It's a small town. Every way you turn, I guess we're gonna run into each other.
Dad, you should have just punched him out. Yeah, you know how to fight, Daddy. You do that for a living.
This guy, he threatened you?
He's clever, so that the law can't touch him.
You have a daughter around 16?
16? What?
Well, come out wherever you are.
Go to the hell off my property!
You, sir, will be hearing from the Ethics Committee.
We got this freaking psychopath in our faces. I mean, who knows what's true and what isn't?
I'm just losing my mind here.
I called the vet, and then he died.
I told you not to let him out.
I didn't let him out! You didn't let him out!
It would be unethical of me to advise the citizen to take the law into his own hands.
You thought about me last night, didn't you?
So they kind of swapped films. And I really can't see a Spielberg Cape Fear that is as greasy as
No,
this one.
I was trying to think what Spielberg would have done because I know he probably loves the original, like mad film nerd, so he would have known this movie. But yeah, I can't imagine it wouldn't be this skeezy. And I think even though the original is beautifully shot, it's still a skeezy movie. Like they are talking very frankly about some very dark things. I don't necessarily know how he would do that, even though in 2 years he deals with some very dark things. But he's done it, but because it's very personal to him, he knows he's giving himself to it probably too much. He's always said Schindler's List was incredibly draining, and I didn't know how I'd get to wake up and go to the set sometimes because I'd just be so, okay, yeah, we're shooting at Auschwitz. This is I don't know how to do this, and then he would just figure out ways to make it more personal to him. And so I don't know exactly. Yeah, a Spielberg Cape Fear doesn't excite me that much.
Well, I just think that, I mean, Spielberg is obviously a master.
Yes.
Master. But, even his war films, like Saving Private Ryan, they're sentiment first.
They are. Schindler's List is sentiment first.
Yeah, and it's an incredible film.
It's a incredible film, yeah.
But he's very much sentiment oriented, whereas Martin, not so much. Not so much. I mean, he can just throw those things away, and especially when he's playing with the kind of De Palma stylistics, because nobody can say about Brian De Palma that he's a family friendly filmmaker.
No,
No.
he is not.
No.
Sorry, yeah. Thinking about the scene from Dress to Kill. No, he is absolutely not that, and neither has Scorsese. I mean, he makes movies about families. Like the families are a very important part of his filmmaking because his family was very important to him. The neighborhood he grew up just watching from his window was very important to him. But he's not a very family-friendly filmmaker, except when your father...
Except for Hugo.
Except for Hugo. That is his one. He was making it for his grandkids, I think. But even then, he's just like, you know what? Film's awesome. It's like, there he is. Just, this is what Scorsese would do with it. But yeah, even if you are too young and your dad brings home Goodfellas and watches it and you watch it as well, and that first scene, you're like, Jesus Christ, are they just stabbing that guy? And then I always wanted to be a gangster. But yeah, he's not very family friendly, and so this is why when he probably got the material to remake Cape Fear, he looked at this and went, oh no, the Sam Bowden character is going to be a mess. Like, having an upstanding man who has no moral conflict is just not interesting to me. Whereas it would have been more interesting to someone like Steven Spielberg, who is a bit more earnest and he wants the sentiment of it. This is Martin Scorsese's going to go, I want a more morally compromised hero. And I want a more...
Is he a hero at all by the end of it?
Exactly. Like, he's already compromised and he's going to be compromised more. And now he has this thing of vengeance descending up, biblical vengeance descending on him. But when you realize what that vengeance is, what, as we said, Nick Nolte had evidence that may have made exoneration easier for the Max Caddy because the teenager that he raped was sleeping around with other people. And in the eyes of a jury, that makes
in 1977.
In 1977 would have made her culpable, which is ridiculous and stupid. But that is how the jury would have seen it. This girl had it coming, and Nolte knew that this guy is a monster. So the kind of the vengeance that's coming on him is like a bit of a disconnect. It's like, well, actually, you did do the right thing, even if it was legally the wrong thing, because you put this man away. And now this man has come away and read law books, read everything he could get his hands on, and was his own lawyer, and now is coming back for vengeance.
And has found the document. But interestingly enough, he found a document. So this Max Caddy, in case we haven't given the game away, is played by Robert De Niro.
Eating all the scenery that he can, by the way.
Oh my God.
Nothing is left.
Nothing is left. You think, of Robert De Niro scenes in a cinema. How many have we got? But the one of him watching. I don't even know what the film is, but it's
Oh, it's Problem Child. It is Problem Child.
Oh my goodness.
Weirdest choice. It's John Brescher adopting this child who is Satan and is a psychopath. It's a really weird movie. And it was meant to be a family movie, and it was such a weird choice. I just would like to go, Marty, I know you did a whole documentary for 5 hours talking about all your movies, but I really need to know why Problem Child and Cape Fear. Wasn't there another movie you could have chosen?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so we find out that he actually got had a chance to be paroled after 7 years, even though he got the maximum. But he killed someone.
Yes.
In prison. They couldn't prove he'd done it, but they just, every time he went up for parole, they were like, no. So he's blaming Nick Nolte's Sam for, this 14-year, living with animals, being sexually assaulted, etc. But he was killing people while he was in prison, so he's not very good at looking at his own behavior.
No.
For somebody who's looking for extreme justice.
Yes, which is, I think the movie's trying to do each character's own vices to kind of define them. But I think when you've got a character who the movie is kind of siding with, breaking the law with, you side with Nick Nolte for hiding that document, because you've seen, like, the original kind of hides what Mitchum is capable of until he assaults the Diane character. Like, he's bad.
Yeah.
You just don't know how bad he is. And it's that scene when he assaults her. We're like, oh shit, this is the devil. Okay, good. Do everything you can to stop him. From the minute he's doing push-ups and you see what is on his wall, and you see like the clouds descending as he walks out of the prison, and the fact that he has like Nazi things on his body,
and his Stalin picture,
and his Stalin picture, like his massive Stalin picture. Like, this man is got many arrows point to him as most evil man on the planet. Like, this isn't.
What Marty does quite a lot of, I've noticed in that film, is what people talk about in Shakespeare as a sympathetic setting or sympathetic background. He's just doing it with the sky all the time. Like, the sky becomes it seems totally digital a lot of the time, the sky work, because it's either heavily beautifully starlit, or the fireworks going off, or it's red like there are flames, or there it's kind of like this almost Nick Cave dum, 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 look yonder, as Robert De Niro's character comes out of the prison. Like, we know he is bad dude.
He is not good. Very bad dude. Do not like, from the get-go. And then he's in the movie theater just with a cigar and laughing. Unfortunately, I cannot take the scene seriously because of The Simpsons. It's I saw, the way I know Cape Fear is The Simpsons, and that has happened a lot, unfortunately, with some classic movies, is that I've been watching a movie and going, wait, did they do this on this? Oh, this was The Simpsons. Oh, okay, that's where that's from. So that's kind of how I was introduced to a lot of classic movies, was when The Simpsons did it. But yeah, I mean,
James L. Brooks would be so glad to hear that.
James L. Brooks.
And I'm just going to point out that I have interviewed James L. Brooks recently. So
you need to brag about that at every opportunity, because that is awesome. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with James. I would just be like, Holly Hunter, Albert Brooks reading the news. That
Mary Tyler Moore.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Taxi.
Oh, she did Taxi. Of course he did Taxi.
Terms of Endearment.
Like,
no, we're going way off thing, but he's really nice. Really nice.
Oh, that's good.
Really
No,
nice.
that makes me happy. So Marty's making him most evil as possible. The sky reflects what's going on, but then you have Nick Nolte. But because Martin Scorsese doesn't like simple moral main characters, a Bowden, I don't think would have been interesting to him. I think he said in much in interviews, he looked at it and goes, can we make him more complicated? So they make him the beginnings of this moral corruption. Like he's having an almost, well, the movie's saying they're not having an affair because they're not sleeping with each other, but they're having an emotional affair
But
with.
he's had an affair,
Yes.
which is why they moved to New Essex in the first place, and they left Georgia.
Yeah.
So they're in North Carolina now because he had an affair. He's not trustworthy anyway.
No.
You know, his first go-to essentially with the Max Caddy character is like, how much to get rid of you? Like,
yeah.
It takes a long time for our original Sam to get to that point in his, you know, I guess, descent, which will eventually be, you know, turn into an ascent again because, you know, he's Gregory Peck. Where with this one, it's his go-to.
Yeah.
Like and he lies about why to his wife why this is happening. So the Elena Douglas thing too, he hasn't slept with her, but he's really enjoying the attention that he gets, and he makes her feel bad by saying, my wife doesn't even know you exist.
Exactly.
And so, and yeah, he's got no connection to his daughter particularly. Lee, played by Jessica Lange, you know, went through a huge depression, and he blames her for that. And like, he's just a dick.
He is a dick. It's just, my thing is that if you're meant to kind of teach this man morals, giving him Max Caddy feels like overkill a little bit, because you're putting he's a dick with
he's going to rape your entire family.
He's going to rape your entire family, and if he's in the mood, he might even rape you. So it's like, I think anything goes with this character. He is just watching it, because he doesn't seem to feel pain. Like you asked, is he supernatural? And I went, yeah, kinda. Like
there is a stage where he says, when I was in jail, that I had to make myself better than human. Like,
yeah.
Because everyone was subhuman, I had to make myself better than human. And he also talks about the fact that he's from the tent preachers stock.
Yes.
You know, people who could swallow pretend poison and do pretend miracles. But I mean, at some point he's taken it seriously.
It is taking it seriously. And there's a thing when you watch it and you wonder if he actually feels actual pain, like physical pain, because I know there is a very rare condition. It's not even played out. This is just because he ties himself to the bottom of a car while they are driving to Cape Fear to get away from him. It's not even to lure him out. It's literally just so they can actually get away from him. Like we're done. He's been in the house. He's killed people. We need to get away. He is set on fire at one point and then comes back within 2 minutes. Like this is not a man who seems to feel actual pain that other people are feeling. And it's a really interesting thing because he thinks he is justice incarnate, that he's going to come back and deliver all this justice that he feels that he is entitled to. And he's inflicting this pain on all these people, yet whenever someone tries to inflict pain on him, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a possibility that the kind of faith healing part of his childhood, which is never really deeply explored. It's mentioned a couple of times, and by the time he's dying, he starts speaking in tongues.
Yes.
And that's where you get that again. And also, unlike Robert Mitchum's character, he doesn't drink. He drinks Evian. He's always drinking water. So he's, you know, like his only vice is a cigar. And, you know, raping people and killing them. Considered a little bit more than vices, but yeah, biting someone's face off.
Yes. Killing someone with piano wire that that he steals from the house. Um, he is, I mean, Robert Mitchum's diabolical, but holy shit, Robert De Niro is diabolical, and like I enjoy it because it's so over the top. This movie is so over the top. It's like Martin Scorsese watched the original Cape Fear because you know what this movie's missing? Drama. And I mean everyone just, especially Max Caddy, just going for it full bore. And I'm going to ramp up that score 60%. So it's
I mean, I like it very much.
I like it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it's a 4 out of 5 film,
Yes.
and you know, De Niro is amazing,
He is
and
amazing.
he's physically looking great. You know, he's really put that sort of thin man muscle on.
Yes.
If you know what I mean, like he looks wired, and Juliette Lewis is revelatory here.
She
I
is
mean,
amazing.
she was, I think, given she was, I don't know if she won, but she was certainly nominated for an Oscar for her role here.
Yeah,
I think.
you kind of, the way she does it, I love it how in the beginning she seems like a very young 15-year-old, just the way she acts, but it's Juliette Lewis, so you know there's something else going on. But
Well, we didn't at the time, though.
we didn't at the time. But she's kind of playing this very sweet, innocent girl who seemingly doesn't understand. She has this very creepy encounter with Caddy, who's literally in a gingerbread house.
And saying, I am the big bad wolf.
I am the big bad wolf. It's like,
And how much Henry Miller have you read?
I mean, holy shit. Like, I was like, this is so not subtle, but I'm kind of in love with it just for like, he is the goddamn wicked witch wolf all wrapped into one in a goddamn ginger house leading a child to him. Like, holy shit. Like, thank you, Marty. Whatever this is, I love it. But she has this very strange encounter where she doesn't know how to feel about it. And then all of a sudden she dresses differently. Like, it's given her this weird confidence of, oh, I might be a woman. I don't want my parents hiding things from me anymore. I'm moving into adulthood, but that encounter, as the movie is showing you, is skeezy as all hell and all wrong because he is grooming her and she runs away. But there's this very complicated thing of, I don't know how to feel about this. I know it's wrong, yet it made me feel like an adult. By the time she gets to the houseboat again, she's dressing like a child again. Like, she is aware that there's a real transformation and going kind of, you watch her grow into a woman and then a child again, but then a woman again. Like, because she is,
Well,
yeah, it's amazing.
Womanhood around Max Cady is freaking terrifying.
Yes, and you don't want being yes,
seen by that guy,
is
being
not,
noticed.
not good, not good.
No.
And she realizes that, like, and the way she's trying to, when he enters the houseboat and they know, and they're like, oh shit, and she's like trying to flirt with him, but she can't quite do it because she's so terrified. It's like, holy crap, you're good. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look what she's doing, like she's 15 and she's reading these very interesting
Yes.
books, like and not the Henry Miller, although she did sneak and read some of it. But you know, she's not an idiot, and you can tell that she's impatient to grow up.
Yes, that's it. But yeah, she's very impatient. Yeah.
And I don't think that Lee in any way is keeping her a child, but I think her dad is, to an extent,
Yeah.
keeping her a child. She's not happy because her parents are consistently fighting, and you know, she doesn't seem to be terribly social either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess she's got this isolated thing. But one thing that Martin does that is far more direct in his Cape Fear is he sexualizes Juliette Lewis.
Yes.
You know, even from the very beginning, like most of the time, like none of her shirts stay on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and she's biting her lips, and you know, in the first one, I don't I don't think Nancy is sexualized until we have to come to terms with the fact that for the first time, her dad, Gregory Peck, has to look at her as a woman.
Yes.
Which is and look at her as a potential sexual target, which must, for that version of the character must have been devastating.
Yeah, and I think for Nancy as well, because I don't think she saw herself as a sexual being or as a potential of sexual violence. Like she was a child. Like that's how she
Mm.
is framed in the movie, that's how she is dressed. That's kind of everything. And to be that is absolutely devastating. But the scene when I think Nick Nolte really wants to know what happened between her and Katie. And so he walks into her bedroom and she is just wearing her underwear and a singlet. He doesn't know where to look. He's uncomfortable and she's kind of going, but I'm a woman now. And he goes, could you please put some clothes on? You're not a child anymore. But he cannot say that you're a woman or you're turning into one. And it is a very uncomfortable scene. But she is trying to flex her muscles in a way that she doesn't quite understand yet or how to know how to do. And I think the performance is done perfectly.
But if you
Yeah.
look at what he does in that scene next,
Yeah.
is that he makes her cry by basically assaulting her and putting his hand over her face.
Yeah, because she's yelling at him. She gets angry. He's trying to get an answer. So he goes, shut up, and puts her hand over her mouth. And it's a terrifying moment.
That
Yeah.
what's the first thing that people think of, a lot of people think of in terms of, what we understand as a traditional rape is the
Yeah.
silencing first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot more morally grey than
Yes. And I think Jessica Lange is good as always. I think the way she's dressed up as a classic icy blonde, which I kind of loved. She's got a constant cigarette and she's constantly like this woman's going through 2 packs a day. Like she is smoking a lot. But yeah, she is just dressed up as the typical Hitchcock icy blonde. And I think Jessica Lange would have made a great icy blonde. I think she had that. Not that she should have ever worked with Hitchcock, because that would have been traumatizing. I think that was traumatizing to nearly every female who had to be his star. But I think she just has that aura of, and she is very, very good. Again, the way she tries to seduce Katie when she is being assaulted so she can try and grab the gun. Like it's all kind of these machinations of how you play, how you act within a sexual assault, and we see all the different versions of that. How Ileana Douglas is trying to play along with the handcuffs, so you can start see her getting a bit more nervous, like she can't move. And she's like, "Hang on, what's going on? Okay, I'm just going to joke my way. If he thinks I'm not scared, then maybe I'll get out of it," kind of thing, and it just doesn't happen.
no, and yeah, we don't even see the full.
No.
And we don't see any of the
No,
full
no,
scenes.
but
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
We're not watching The Accused or anything like that. Or Salo, that.
We don't need it, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it just, prefer
You know
not.
what's happening, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you do see him bite a face.
Yeah.
And that in itself is like, oh.
That comes out of nowhere. It's like because like in the scene in the original, you can kind of see him breathing when he's by the bed, and she's kind of going, "Uh-oh, I'm watching you. Your body language isn't good," and you just see him breathing. But when he moves, it's so quick, like it's almost shocking. Like because beforehand you're like, "Oh, it's Robert Mitchum without a shirt off. Hello," and then you're like, "Oh God, that's happening." And in this, it's much more operatic. Like, yeah, he bites poor Ileana Douglas's face, which is like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that the two Max Caddies do have in common is that they come off as outsiders because they're tacky.
Yeah.
And that even in the 90s there is a sense of like extreme tackiness in the way that De Niro is dressed, and the the expensive vintage car, all of that, just doesn't.
The massive cigar, like it's just all, yeah, it is all very tacky.
Yeah, and I know that you were talking before about how they're dressing Robert Mitchum in white with the Panama and all of that, but that's also tacky in itself. Like he
Yes, it
fits
is.
in with dive bars. I mean, it's a very different milieu to what
Gregory
Gregory
Peck is in.
Peck's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
the jealousy, well, the jealousy that Robert De Niro has for those people is a lot more obvious. Like because he's constantly telling them. Like Ileana Douglas is kind of trying to make a joke that he was went to prison. He is being insulted, yet he's kind of, but you can kind of see it on his face. Like anyone who kind of, the way that conversation he has with Jessica Lange outside their house is very telling of, he has to get the last word in. Like he cannot let Jessica Lange go without getting that final word in because he needs to be better than everyone else and trying to get into this world that can instantly identify him as not one of them. And that is an interesting, it's in both movies, but I think it's because the Scorsese one is so blunt about things. It's like, well, that's obviously what it is.
yeah,
It's telling you.
and also, the difference too is that the Max Caddy in the 62 is it's not a religious, there's no religious iconography there.
No.
We just know he's bad.
Yeah.
Whereas here, the Max Caddy of De Niro is talking about sacrifice and justice and eternity, and he at one stage says, I am as big as God, I am as small as God, because God is as small as me. And he's got Bible verses on his arm.
Yes.
And can't say the tattoo work is the best I've ever seen in cinema, but he's got all these things on his arm, and he was, up until his time in prison, illiterate. So that's also interesting as well. So the way that he will have learned originally was through people who were essentially liars.
Yeah.
And had used God to bilk people.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's a
and also that kind of Baptist reform revelation kind of thing was very oral. It was for people who didn't have the resources to have many books, so you would go and see the like they'd put on a show, and it was all very oral communication, like the speaking in tongues, the kind of the energy of it all. They're dictating what they think the Bible says, and oftentimes it had nothing to do with the Bible. It was give me money and I'll put on a show for you.
yeah.
So that's kind of was what he is doing. And to have Nick Nolte, who this whole family who was very learned. I mean, Juliette Lewis is a very well-read girl. Lee is very well-read. Like they are very they're very intellectual. Sorry, took that word to come out for a second. And Max Caddy is trying to be that, but it's something he's doing something else, and it's very foreign. Again, he's tacky, and he's trying to hide in this world that he's not doing very well, because everyone could just point and go, you don't belong in this town. Like, who are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's distinctly Southern. That's
Yes.
one thing that we notice more in Scorsese's vision than we do in the original. Is like it is set in the South, but the accents aren't Southern the way they are in this. And it's like, oh yeah, we are in the South.
Yes, everyone is speaking Southern. Nick Nolte has a Southern accent. Jessica Lange sometimes has a Southern accent. De Niro was doing a thing. Apparently, Martin found it creepy, so De Niro would call him up and leave messages in the accent.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because he kept that stuff for like 3 months.
Yeah, I just think there are some questionable parts of the film for me too. Like, I know that you were talking about the kind of going into greens and things like that, but why the solarization sections? Where it's just like, we're just going to do this in solarized film style. And it's like, because why?
Why? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it opens like a Twilight Zone episode with Juliette Lewis going, I never thought there was anything really to fear of Cape Fear, except, you know, the end of the holiday. And then you find out that Cape Fear has full affair. But no, it ends on that solarized thing. I'm like, okay,
But it's
Marty
also
got a
when
new
it,
toy.
yeah, when Lee and Sam are having sex, I think that the moment where apparently that I guess is the orgasm, it goes into solarized.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like, but why? So
It's literally like in this Psycho remake when I think it's during the stabbing scenes, you'll like shoot to clouds and you're like, why? Like it doesn't the director obviously had a reason for doing that, but no one else can read the intention into that. So it's like, okay, you do you. That makes no sense visually, but okay.
Well, to me, it just didn't make
Yeah.
any sense at all. Is there a sense of like, do we have to have like this strange, like this is a weird thing that's going on in the house, a husband and wife having like sex? Why is it changing colors all the time? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Marty would probably tell us if we asked.
Yes, there's probably a film reference that he is doing and exactly why he did it. The man has always had intention, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, you do you, Marty. And that's the point where I was like, you do. There was a lot of points, even though I do enjoy this movie, I think there was a lot of points where I'm just like going, you do you, Marty. This is obviously something you are able and willing to do, and no one's push well, actually a lot of people push back and he would just ignore them or just yell and throw a table. So
Surely he was over by 91, he was out of his cocaine years, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, but then I'm actually speaking more to Gangs of New York when he had to deal with the Weinsteins, and apparently there were many thrown tables.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Because dealing with those guys was just painful. So, but no, I don't think he was doing that. He was working for Amblin, so
he's working for Steve.
He's working for Steve, and so I think it's all pretty. Steve was like, "Yeah, do that, do the solarization, awesome."
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, that's it. I just found that kind of an odd visual choice because I was kind of going, okay, I'm searching for the symbolism here, and I'm just missed it. I don't know.
No.
But yeah, it's a film held up by two extraordinary performances. And Jessica Lange is there, but she doesn't get as much to do, I think, as
No, she has a couple of
could.
moments, but not as. And I think Nick Nolte is generally good in this. I was surprised by how, because sometimes I can be a bit up and down on him. So this is one of the ones I was like,
yeah, but Nick Nolte just isn't instantly trustable, though. Too, that's the other thing. That's instantly trustworthy. Sorry, trustable. Anyway,
it's now a word.
Yeah, it's in my dictionary, so my dictionary counts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Marty's going hard here.
Oh yeah.
Like just really pushing everything he can, pushing the visuals, pushing, again, the soundtrack is screaming at you. It's like, yeah, cool. That's very, very loud and great that you got someone to redo Bernard's score, but shh, shh, shh. They're just in the house, they're just about to have dinner. Like, we don't need it.
Indoor voices.
Yeah, indoor voices. But it's a great film. I mean, both Cape Fears are great, and I am surprised to how few films were made out of John D. MacDonald's books, like, because as far as kind of crime writing goes, he was quite good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, sometimes authors don't. Well, they get their moment and it's a really weird moment that goes away. But no, Cape Fear is one of those, it's part of the standard of noir and horror. And mainly because it is
Southern Gothic.
And Southern Gothic. So it's kind of an important movie for those genres. And this is and just because of the two and different interpretations of it. They're completely different, but yet serve a very similar purpose, even though they are done very differently.
Well, I think by the end of the Scorsese version, the reconstruction isn't a proper reconstruction. It's just this family is going to never talk about what happened again,
No.
which is kind of a bad thing.
Kind of get the sense in the original because they're sitting on the boat, just not looking at each other. I got that sense as well a little bit. Maybe because I watched it after the Scorsese one, so I'm like, oh, they're not talking either. But no, it's stated that.
No, they're in shock by
They're in
that.
yeah.
But I think there's still going to be a functional family, and because Gregory Peck does not kill, which is quite different to Nick Nolte, who would have actually killed had the river not slightly moved.
Yes.
Yeah, he said, "I'm going to kill you." He is a very different Sam. So,
Oh, yes, that's actually a really good point because he doesn't actually kill Katie. It's nature kind of just takes him back.
well, nature takes him back because he's
Chained to the thing.
chained to the boat.
Chained to the boat, but he doesn't actually fulfill the thing he was going to do to protect his family. And that is it demasculate or unmasculate? Him, even though he's probably not going to tell his family.
It's actually emasculate.
Emasculate. Sorry. He's that's emasculates him, but he's not, even though he doesn't tell his family that, there's always this sense of I didn't actually protect any of you. Whereas Gregory Peck absolutely fulfilled that mission that he had.
Yeah, but I just think that Gregory Peck is the less complicated character.
He is, yes.
By the 90s, like we Marty was like, we've got to have somebody a bit, morally ambiguous, and the problem at the very beginning, like what makes as I said very early on, probably one of the most ethical things he chooses to do as a human, as opposed to a lawyer, is to ensure that Max Caddy gets locked up.
Yes, but it is, in terms of the law, the least ethical thing he could do, which I like the quandary of that. It's like the ethical human thing to do was to keep this man in prison for as long as you can. The unfair, in terms of being your profession and upholding the law and the state and the civilization that you live in, would be to give that report to the DA and then him get a chance to actually get off and to cause way more harm. So I think it's an interesting quandary. I just think that even though I love this movie to death, I don't necessarily think the vengeance of Max Caddy fits the crime of what Nolte did. There's a weird disconnect because you are completely on board for what Sam did.
Yeah, but also, Max Caddy is an insane monster.
Yes, he is just yeah, when he's like calling friggin' Juliette Lewis, he's like hanging upside down doing exercises. Like, what?
Pretending to be her drama teacher.
Pretending to be her drama teacher. And it's like, I'm sorry, what is happening?
He's completely like
he's a lunatic.
He's yeah, and I think that both, but in the first one, Robert Mitchum's Max doesn't think he's going to die.
No,
he doesn't go to the river, the water, Cape Fear, to eventually just die or get taken to prison or any other things. He thinks he's going to win, whereas Max Caddy at some point just knows that his number is up, and doing this, no matter what he does, something awful is going to happen, and he will end up in oblivion.
Yes.
Yeah, obliterated. Yeah, I think that's this different kind of push. That is my opinion.
Well, yes, because Max Caddy in the original thinks he has the law on his side because he knows how to manipulate it. Whereas Gregory Peck has to go outside the law until he doesn't. Like, he's like, no, you're going to be arrested. Sorry, dude. This is not what you wanted. And you thought you were smart enough to get away with this, but you're going back to prison. And as you said, with this one, he knows by the time he chains himself to the car or belts himself to the car, he knows this is kind of like a suicide mission. But it's more about fate taking over, I think, a little bit with him.
Or faith, or just whatever. Look, he's just he's mad.
He's lost it completely lost it by this point. I mean, he's literally belted himself to the bottom of the car, and I love the look that the woman gives when he gets out from under the car. It's like I'm sorry, what now?
And we just have to quickly talk about some, wonderful cameos. You've got Martin Balsam as the judge. You have Gregory Peck playing
a shady lawyer, which I love.
Well, I don't know if he's even a shady lawyer. I think he's a good, like, kind of an okay lawyer, but Max Caddy gets him first.
Yes, I have a conflict of interest.
Yeah, and he's the one who's going to institute disbarment. And Robert Mitchum plays a cop who's out to help him. So it's just great.
As I said, this is a complete remake. Martin's not pretending that he's readapting the book. I would also like to point out before we finish that Joe Don Baker is in this movie, being amazing as the private detective.
Kirkus, he's great.
Yes, he is great. I love him in every time I see it. And this movie absolutely has a psycho moment, which I love. As in De Niro dressed as the housekeeper, looking very much like Mother. So I think that was just, again, a nod to probably to Brian De Palma more than Psycho than to Alfred Hitchcock. But it's just there's all these really great moments that kind of maybe don't always fit together when you're watching it, but those are the parts of it you enjoy. So yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
It is fun. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been an amazing convo about just the way you can tackle this kind of material. But of course, before we go, please, Nadine, where can people find your good work?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. Look up Nadine Whitney on Rotten Tomatoes, and all her writing is there. It is very good.
And where can people find you, Lindsay? I think you should let the people know.
You should let people know. On all the pods, you can find Schlock Awe. Please rate and review, and you can follow me on Schlock Awe 1 on Reader Geek, on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And we will be back with another double feature. Happy Noir.
We actually will.
Yes,
Lindsay, we will. So
yes. We will, and it'll be a good one.
A remake feature.
Another remake and feature. This, yes. Though I would argue that someone's readapting the book, but
I again,
we will find out.
We'll find out.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.